Well, I want to go over this blog that I just saw, and actually disagrees with a lot of the things I've been suspecting all along with Trump. Let me say this, hands down. I mean, if you're looking at all the candidates that are out there, there's no way in hell I'm going to choose one of the other candidates over Trump if I'm voting, right? But there's something else I've always picked up about Trump that I've said this repeatedly. Basically, he's a BS artist, and he's in with the elite. He's in with the sharks. Um, and he's a minnow, even if he's got this wide patriotic streak running down his back. He's a minnow in a sea of sharks. And one of the biggest problems we got is like people say, "Well, we got Trump." Well, you know what? Even if this guy was Superman and he was 100% legit, which I can tell you he's compromised a lot. Um, it's not going to work out unless we, the people, really start getting some backbone too. And this is something else I want to even say. The Hillary phenomenon, whatever it is, she was created by a conservative daddy. Daddy wanted to send her to college, and oh yeah, and my daughter's gonna get higher education. Well, you know what? She should have been a mommy, having children, nurturing them, and she would have been 1,000 times better person. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I look at today, people and guys today are such a bunch of cucks. It's ridiculous. They fall all over little Missy every freaking 2 seconds. Now, where I used to, I would say I respect women like crazy is like, if you're talking like 100, 150 years ago, a woman giving birth was a dangerous thing. I mean, it was like she could die just as easily as the child, and she had to nurture the child, and there was a lot of infant death, okay, mortality. And in other words, the mother had to be up like 24 hours a day watching the infant. It's a super tough job. Besides, it was dangerous for her to give birth at that time. So today, like, women are like, yeah, but the deal is, a lot of this stuff that has been created with the nanny state has been led this way by weak males. And this has really been a problem all along. Conservatives, what do you want to call them? So I want to kind of go over this article real briefly. I'll just give it a link for it. It's in the it's I'll just put the link up there. It's a weird link. It's like INI dash world dash report dash org, and it has incredibly dangerous Trump deception, right? So he talks about Attorney General William Barr, and I can tell you, William Barr, there's a lot of stuff even with the anti-gun stuff and all this kind of junk with him and Epstein and all this. I don't even want to get into this because I can't say too much on YouTube, and I don't really want to get into this article that much. I'm just going to point out, take a look at it, and he says don't shoot the messenger. Now, there's something else I saw on YouTube, which was friends of David Goldberg, and David Goldberg was, I don't know, died or was killed recently, probably for revealing information. Now, I want to tell you this, that I know you people out there, there's a large amount of people out there, anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, anti-Zionist, and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to say this is really what it is. It's because, I guess you could call it secular Zionism, maybe? Maybe that's one way of looking at it. That's the bad part, not Zionism. In other words, when you look at the Torah, God has promised the Jews the entire world, all His people, everything. And in other words, Jews are going to be a beacon of light. But the agreement is, and the way this comes about, is that you have to obey the law as illustrated or set forth in the Torah. And then it's going to come about that Jews are going to be given the entire earth. They're going to rule the earth because it is God's will. But first, Jews have to obey the Torah. So, now, I know obviously there's Jews that obey the Torah and some that don't, right? But there's another side of it. It's like there's certain elements, elitist elements, that are trying to force this, that God has granted the Jews the earth by just making it happen in a materialistic way, by just doing it, just going for it. You see, that's not Zionism, all right? If you get what I mean? In other words, Zionism is, it's kind of like an add-on to the Torah, I guess, but it's like, if you're a truly devout Jew practicing what you're supposed to be practicing, it's going to come about by God's will. It's not going to be like make it happen, So just want to make that differentiation. It's another differentiation, and a lot of this information, like friends of David Goldberg, you'll see this in the posted in Israel publications and stuff. A lot of Jews are aware of what's going on. There's not one big monolithic way of thinking, okay? Because I want to point this out because there is a lot of anti-Semitism on YouTube. There is. Oh man, a lot of it. But anyway, this does say that one thing I always picked up. I'm not really reading from this article, but I'll let you read it though because this is pretty good. I'm not really going to go over this article per se because just to make you aware that it's there. But one thing I picked up about Trump is that he's always been in the Soros crowd. He's been buddy with Clinton for a long time. To me, I know I've seen testimony that you could say it was BS, that girls were saying that Trump was doing the same thing that Bill was doing, with Epstein and everything else, right? You know what? 1,000% believe that. So at the very minimum, Trump is compromised. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen here. I thought the economy was going to go south before even Trump got elected the first time. It's like we are on such a high roll. Like the roller coaster ride of the stock market and the economy, there's normal ups and downs. Well, this roller coaster has been going up, far longer than it should have. It's like in other words, we're in a bubble that's bigger than 1920s. The tech bubble is like astronomically big, and the reason I could also say that's kind of another subject in a way, but the tech bubble is astronomically big because of all this outside investment. Social media is not just a tool to influence elections or influence the public. I know it's beyond beyond just saying it's to make money for through advertising, and big tech giants are making billions of dollars or whatever. Fine, but and it's not just to social engineer people, but it's also to get tabs on everybody, what they think, if they're compliant citizens, they're obedient, they're whatever, if they're troublemakers, quote unquote, or whatever. That's what it is. Now, friends of David Goldberg, he also had he talked about Project Zephyr and Project Pogo. Basically, when the economy goes totally kablooks sometime during the second Trump administration, say 2022 or whatever around there, 2020, late 2021, it's going to lead to a lot of social unrest and a lot of problems, and they're going to get rid of people. That's when they're going to come to get rid of people in different ways. You can look at Friends of David Goldberg channel on YouTube and watch what it says. I'm not going to get into it, but it does dovetail into what Deagle.com predicts for the United States. Deagle, right? Deagle, not Gegle, Gel, Deagel. The 2025 predictions for the population, United States, the GDP, the purchasing power parity to military expenditures. Way, way, way down. I know I put videos out about this before. I didn't really believe them to be that extreme, but part of it because of the debt situation, and not only the GDP, but there's personal data out there. I've read that 48% of the Americans, coming up to this Christmas 2019, they still got debt they're paying off from Christmas 2018. That's 48%. That's what I read someplace. I could believe that the economy is not that great. It's probably overall looking good because certain people on the top are making loads of money, but doesn't mean everybody on average is making a lot of money. No, so, I would think, this is a good article to read. And it's what I've always, like I'm saying is, I guess when they finish up this article, it says, it says Democrats are still much worse. I agree. I know this. Yeah, I know demonic Democrats are still much worse. Well, why not draft a real patriot for 2020? Why? Because there is no way to do this. It's like you got Trump as your only alternative, and he's compromised, and it's like he may have a very big patriotic streak. That's why they can't stand him. But it's it's way beyond him. There's stuff coming down that I think the United States economy. You see, MAGA. I said this before. I think it's one big psych op. Trump doesn't write all his Twitters. He doesn't write his speech. He's independent, but it's almost like you're watching a WWF show with him. Or, I didn't never watch that crap, but I mean, I know I was aware of some little clips of him on WWF. Or The Apprentice. I've never watched that show. I never watched any of his stuff, to tell you the truth. I know the guy's real smart. I know he's aware of, the things they would call conspiracy theories that are actually true. I know he's aware of all this stuff. And he's got a patriotic streak in him. But they're basically, and they don't really want him in there, but he's kind of like, right now, he's like a pressure relief valve, too, in a way. But all you got to do to get rid of Trump, this is all that needs to be done. In other words, he set back the timetable of some years. But if the economy, if you see all the stock markets go way down in 2021, 22, 22, that's going to be the end of Trump. The whole thing's going to, and then all you need is one person to go in there, undo everything he did. You can have, like he talks about the wall. Say the whole wall was built, or whatever the hell it was, and say that was the most important issue, right? You know what? So, you can build this whole damn wall. If you have another person come in there, you can just open up the gates, okay? That's all you got to do. Done. Now, what I'm saying is that if the economy goes down south really bad, he's done. Because he's been in 5, 6, he's been over 6, he's been in 6 years, and look what happened. And people say, no, that was because of the Democrats, or this is because of this and that. Well, Trump had his 6 years, and this is that's it. He's done. And then the people will with all the freaking crooked elections and all that stuff that we got, and voter rigging and everything, besides all the propaganda that's on social media, they'll have somebody else in there, and then the whole thing's going to unwind. But beyond that, friends of David Goldberg, who's exposed a lot of things, he says, there's going to be, it's going to be like a purge. Real bad stuff that's going to happen during this time of economic calamity. So, and they got the tech to do it. That's the thing. And I think that's true. I think that's very true, and it's a lot worse than you think. The problem is, I like that people are very patriotic and they're going to fight back and they want to do this. Some people got a lot more balls than other people. But you don't really got to look at how freaking demonically deceptive people are on the top. It's way beyond it. It's in another realm. And I think I see this because I don't know. Maybe I'm evil. I don't know. I could figure out what the hell. To me, I think I know what's going to happen. And this blog, I'm not going to really go over it too much because I don't want to air their work, but I'm just trying to make you aware of it. And the other thing is, I'm not monetized anyway, so I'm not getting financial benefit by doing this, showing his blog or whatever it is. But, I want you to read it. It's kind of telling you about, draining the swamp was a false promise. Right. I think that is. I mean, a lot of his stuff he talked about, it's, I know he's saying, give the guy a break, give the guy I know this. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, man. And I'm not saying this guy's not totally he's got a patriotic streak in him. But it's way beyond this. It's way beyond this shit. And I think the stuff that's coming up is unbelievably bad. And, today you got these conservatives that, I see down here in Florida, you got these people that are retired, they live in these gated communities, they play golf and shit. And I'm like, I'm a conservative. Like, yeah, you know what? You're a lazy piece of turd. I mean, I really don't like those kind of people. I'm really more hands-on type person all the way. But anyway, this thing I think it's going to blow up. It, I expected, tell you the truth, I expected the economy to go kablooey. The markets. In other words, a normal downturn. It's like every 7 to 10 years you have a normal downturn in the markets. I don't know what the hell's keeping these markets up. Bots trading with each other or something like that. I know the numbers, the Trump economy and everything. I know, man. Shit, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's amazing even that these big tech people, well, Hollywood people are idiots. Robert De Niro or something like that. Yeah, I tell you, most Italians that were in that he portrays, they don't think like him. He's a movie actor. I can tell you that right now. They're way more conservative than he is. But a lot of people in Hollywood don't like, or I'm just picked on him. I just threw a name out there, but there's loads of them, right? They don't like Trump and stuff. These people in Hollywood, they don't realize they're on a chopping block too. When this purge happens, the useless idiot, they're useless and useful idiots or whatever the hell it is, in media, in academia, in Hollywood, and including big tech, they're going to be freaking thrown under the bus. It ain't going to matter. So it's these people are freaking idiots. It's what it's coming down to. I don't really know what to do about all this stuff. It's the problem. I don't know myself. I wish more people would be. In other words, when you're looking at the election, what are you gonna do? There's no way I'm not gonna vote for any other candidate than Trump. But I just don't trust the guy, man. I know he's a BS artist. I know he's compromised. I know this. And see, that's the thing. I'm aware of this, so I realize I'm not going to sit back and say, "Oh, Trump's got us covered. Oh, we got Trump." It's ridiculous to think that. No way. It's like you just don't want it. Obviously, everybody else out there is at least 1,000 times worse. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, if you look at what the hell went wrong with the United States, it's when the South lost the war back in 1861, 1865, or their quest for independence. That's when America basically was freaking sunk. And we've been on a downhill trend ever since then. As a matter of fact, every time we had a war, it had nothing to do with American interests, since that time, right? So it's been going down for a long time. And this is the empire of America is basically in its death throes right now with the debt bomb looming over its head. So it's like, and friends of David Goldberg, they talk about when this stuff hits, you're going to have millions of dollars and you're going to be like looking for food. And this is planned. And that's going to make this MAGA thing look like, yeah, that'll be last time. He's going to be a memory. You know what I mean? All you got to do is knock out the leader, is to mess up the economy. And Trump, one guy, a president, does not control the economy. Sorry. A lot of people behind the scenes that can do this. I'm not trusting nothing. But anyway, I'm going to tell you this, though. On a one bright note, I'm going to be doing this hydrogen, hydroxyhydrogen, oxygen, whatever it is, HHO, water, gas, whatever you call it. The hydrogen, water, and gas split from plain water. To me, I think this is going to be the most important thing to resolve any kind of health issue you have and biologically reverse age you better than anything out there for extremely low cost. And once you build the device, it's not going to cost you crap after that. I mean, it's not going to be, you can run it on a solar panel, for crying out loud. I'll probably have this thing together tomorrow or the next day. We'll show you how it operates. And in a situation where the economy goes south and, food supply is iffy and all this other garbage, your health is number one. And, your body is mostly water and you produce your own hydrogen, and the body takes energy to produce hydrogen. I'm going to get into this stuff later on, but this is something I think that is dirt cheap and it can keep you alive a lot longer, or I don't know, getting through the garbage. I really don't. I don't trust what's happening here, man. I just never trusted it, man. I never trusted it from day one. And I know people got mad at me for like, and I was saying, well, you still think Trump is bad? I'm like, I'm not saying that exactly, you know. And I'm not coming at it. I'm not coming at it from the liberal socialist mindset. I'm not thinking that way. I'm just saying, you know, all these big bucks guys are BS artists. Even the critics of Trump that are in business, when they're saying Trump's a BS artist, and I'm not saying I'm for those guys either that are criticizing Trump, but they're telling you an angle that's absolutely correct. In other words, you know, he's going to get out of this. He's going to be president. I don't know what his legacy is going to be, you know, if the economy goes down or whatever. His family's going to get all money. He's going to be fine. His kids are going to be fine. His wife's going to be fine. Some of his friends are going to be fine. You, screw you. This is why I really don't trust this whole 9 yards where, you know, this is what you really got to have for a principle in America. Pre-1861. In other words, the president doesn't have that much power. Period. We don't need to elect a strong leader to save us. Get out of here with that crap. So anyway, I'll point to this link, and I'll point to the YouTube link with Friends of David Goldberg, you know, his last 2 videos, and it's agreeing with Deagle.com stuff, although Deagle.com doesn't go into all that detail. And I don't think it's BS. It doesn't mean that it has to happen this way, though, because there's a lot of push and shove and back and forth, and there's resistance, and you know, even amongst the evildoers, there's people that aren't totally in with the program, and it can throw a monkey wrench in the works, and a lot of stuff. And then people get religious, and they say, well, Jesus is gonna come back and swoop down and save everything. And I'm like, yes, sure. You know what? This is why I lean decidedly Jewish. I mean, I'm not exactly Jewish, but I lean that way big time. Big time. I'm going to tell you. But, you know, I want you to also remember, like, again, it's fine to be pro-Zionist. It's fine to be pro-Israel and Jewish and all that. You got to remember where I kind of differentiate between the true good true, it's the good guy, and the guy that's not exactly going on with the program, is when you get too secular and you try to, like, force what God says is going to, what the Jews are going to be granted. In other words, man does not make that happen. God makes that happen. Why does that happen? Because Jews will obey God's law, follow what's in the Torah, and then God will grant Jews this entire earth. It's not like take the entire earth, you know what I mean? Because God said so or something. You see, that's when it goes off track from what Judaism is about. And that's when you're getting in the wrong. That's not Jewish, okay? You understand what I'm saying? It's not really Zionism or whatever, you know what I mean? It's when you try to make something happen through material methods, whereby it's supposed to happen by spiritual methods. In other words, you obey God's law, and then God's going to grant all this to you. That's how it's supposed to work. I'm 100% on board with that program. That's fine. And, you know, if you get my drift on that, in other words, you know, you don't want to, but there's certain people, elitists on the top, they want to just make this happen. So they say, hey, what do we got to do to make this happen? Those guys are not, they're basically, I don't know, they're not Jewish, they're whatever, they're following the devil. That's what they are. Anyway, so that's what's going on with those guys, because they're not doing it because they're trying to make something happen in a material way that God said is going to happen, as long as people, his chosen people, obey the Torah. You can't just try to say, you know, God said this is going to happen, and I, as man, is going to say, I'm going to make it happen this way. That's not how it works. It's got you obey the Torah and you obey the laws, and then you are chosen by God to rule this earth. That's how that works. It's through God. That's through God it's going to happen, not through man. That's the difference. So it's not, that's where, people get mixed up with these labels and stuff. But anyway. Oh, yeah. There he goes. Good Christian mothers and conservative fathers throughout the Deep South and Midwest who justifiably rail against the horrors of Epstein's abuse of underage girls fail to connecting dots. There's tons of evidence proving the irrefutable close relationships between Epstein, Dershowitz, Trump, and Barr. Those, you know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? All in the club. You know? Anyway, over and out. And it's like there's more to this than, like I said, I don't really know all the answers, if I knew the damn answers, This is one reason I don't really give a crap about this 2046 catastrophe that's going to happen on the Earth with the solar the solar nova, where a lot of the Earth gets destroyed. You know what? Maybe that's what it needs. These jackass elitists want to run everything, and the sun goes, and all of a sudden they're all fried, and all their technical apparatuses that they think they can control people with microchips, and none of it works because the few people that are left, all their microchips are fried, and the apparatus that controls that stuff is fried, and we're going right back to prehistoric times again. You see? It's always a bright side. It's freaking ridiculous. Oh, by the way, even though I said I'm not monetized, I'm just kind of going over this article, not really really going over it that much at all, but just making you aware of it, something good to read, because I agree with this. I've always been, people just, man, are telling me, you don't see the light. I don't see the light. And I don't, like, shit, I see what's going on, damn it. I am a devil. I'm a Diablo. And I understand what goes on with this crap. And I can see it. I mean, yes, there's absolutely no other person I would vote for other than Trump because they're that much worse. But I see he's one of the guys that, at the very best you can hope for. He's got some patriotic streak in him, and yeah, but he's a minnow in a sea of sharks. This guy is it's not gonna work, man. Just relying on him only. We the people could do it. But then again, some people are so freaking naive, and like it says, the conservatives, the type of people that are very staunchly conservative, and they coddle their little daughter Hillary and they put her to college. That's where all this freaking crap comes from. It's tough to be a mommy. Hillary didn't want to do that too much. She kind of grudgingly did it because for political purposes. But she only had one. She didn't have a bunch. So, here's another one. And I don't know how true this is. Prison eyewitness says, eyewitnesses say a lot of shit. There's eyewitnesses say they're swamp creatures that are from Mars. But anyway, prison eyewitness says Epstein was released alive in a wheelchair at 4:15 a.m. the day of alleged suicide. Yeah, bomb cell. I don't know. Maybe. I know that guy, Mike Adams of the Health Rangers says that's true, but I don't really know, man. I don't know. I just know what they said he hung himself. That's bullshit. We know that. Anyway, but Susan, by the way, Susan, whatever, Wojcicki, I'm going to be sending you a bill for back pay. Now, do not construe that as this being a monetized video. This is not a monetized video, but I will be sending you a bill for back pay. I'll be working on some calculations over my work performance and earnings performance over the last few years. Very steady income, and you don't like me, and you cut me off, and probably because of my pro-South, pro-Confederate videos more than anything. But I ain't abandoning that project. Tough, too bad. that's not anti-Semitic, that's pro. It's the descendants of the Southerners were the ones that fought against the Nazis. You understand? So it's the good guys, all right. But I'll be sending you a bill for back pay since you demonetized me, and also where you shortchanged me even in like June and July and all that kind of stuff. Versus when you're starting really knocking down my views and stuff and subscribers, and I'll be sending you a bill for back pay. And I suggest you pay it, but it's only a few. It's not that much money compared to what you got. That's for sure. And let me say this: it'd be nice if you paid it. And this way we can get back to my good graces. Like you again. And but don't construe this as if you pay that this is monetized. It's just not. I'm just doing this for information purposes, so people could be aware of this other side. And this is really and it's like, I don't know what to do about this. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice if we get this candidate in there that was really not involved at the swamp at all, and they'd probably kill him inside of a freaking day, So what are you gonna do? I don't know. I always said the wall should be around Washington D.C. That would contain the swamp monsters. I don't really know what the hell to do about this, but one thing I said I'm going to be doing here in the next day, or be today or tomorrow, I'll be putting together this hydrogen from water stuff, and the way we're going to be doing it is very high output, and you need a high output to really vastly improve your health. And what got me interested is that I'm seeing a lot of reports out there that I think are legit that it can literally reverse age you. Now, I'm in my mid-60s, and a lot of people think I'm under 50. They think I'm in my mid-40s. But I'm thinking that's not too bad, but I want people thinking I'm in my mid-20s. Because then I could really be a devil. Anyway, and this way, this way, I mean, what are you going to do about all this politics shit? I don't know. Maybe they'll freaking, I don't know, whatever the hell, freaking, I don't know what's going to happen with this shit. I don't know. I don't really get involved in this politics stuff, but I think I'm smelling something that's not right with this whole deal with Trump. I'm smelling something overall that's not, and I've been smelling this crap from day one. And I did so many videos going back and forth on Trump. I don't really trust this guy, but what are you going to do? Who else is out there? Nobody. It's like the more you get more on with Trump because these other guys that hate him so much are so more screwed up, And then you see like, big tech doesn't like him or CNN doesn't like him. That means I must like him. Well, you know what? I think just they're playing with us, man. That's what I think's going on. Oh, here you go. What Epstein-Barr gate makes it so serious that it directly implicates Donald Trump in the global. See that? You know what I mean? Which I noticed this guy was involved in the same stuff, man. Which means he is super compromised. In other words, they can bring him down anytime they want. And, he says all this stuff with his Twitter account. I don't even know if he makes his own tweets. You know what I mean? He's got some leeway there. But he reminds me of the WWF. One big stupid show. That's what's going on. I don't trust it, man. Yeah. And you got to remember, too, this is another thing that bugged me about Trump. He loves 5G. Talk about one way to freaking control people. Boy, that would be it. Oh, yeah, the HHO. Besides things like activated charcoal and carbon C60 and olive oil that can, thwart the effects of radiation and stuff, HHO can do a lot for that, too, because it's an electron donor. I suspect even the Parazapper does a lot too, because I think that's an electron donor. I'm just saying this stuff because it's the only thing I know that can save you somewhat on a personal level from some of all this crap coming up. But I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know what to do all about this crap, man. It's way beyond us, man. You know? I just hope something comes out of the blue that wipes him out. You remember back in the day, Sir Francis Drake, and it had the Spanish Armada. It's coming up to England. And they had a big battle and all this kind of crap, and Sir Francis Drake screwed him up. What really screwed him up was when the Armada tried to sail around Scotland, and they got caught in a big storm, and the Armada, most of it was ships were sunk or damaged. Well, you know, nature has a way of freaking doing things. And even in California, they've been so late on this 9.5 earthquake mega tsunami reoccurrence that's supposed to happen on average every 244 years. That's been going on average every 244 years for the last 10,000 years. They're 75 years overdue on that. If that happens, you're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to change. Because, you know, this platform, YouTube, is even going to be around. It's going to be underwater. It's going to be sunk. You know, it's going to be blah, 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 blah. So, oh yeah, here. Project Pogo and Project Zephyr. Yeah, who the hell knows, you know, black. You know, the thing is, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's been stuff like this going on for many years that almost happened, that didn't happen. I mean, this doesn't mean this has to happen, but what I'm thinking is that by bringing this out in this video, it's like, hands down, all the other candidates out there are much worse than Trump. But we do have to realize that Trump himself, it very, very, very strongly appears that he is compromised. Which means, do not put your faith in one leader. If you do that, you're wrong. Sorry. It's like saying Santa Claus is going to fix everything. You know, this is what thing also bugs me about the Christian stuff. Is like, Jesus is going to come down and fix everything, so I don't have to do nothing. Yeah, right. You know what? You got to do things every day, right? I mean, you know, you didn't say, you know, if you drive to work or something like that, whatever, you got to do that. Jesus says he's going to do that for you too, right? You know what I mean? You got to get out there and roll up your sleeves and do something. Make it freaking happen. So, anyway, over and out.